If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hey everyone, time for Puzzle Talk, the geocaching puzzle podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. Here are your hosts, Charles Watkins and Tom Brotherman, and our special guest tonight, again back with us, Captain Math, Kevin DeVizia. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Can I risk not hiding behind this thing?
Face
all
for
night?
radio. Hang on,
Yeah.
hang on. Let me show it at least. There you are. Face for. Tom's got a face for radio. There you go.
There, that's where that comes from.
There
You want to
go.
look up why why I had that.
GC9 GD JC GD9 GC9 G
DJC.
JC. Got it. Cool. Well, we're talking again about math,
Woohoo!
which gets Kevin all aflutter,
Goosebumps.
and Charles, because we got to remember Charles used to teach math, right, Charles?
Yeah. So one of the first jobs that I had post graduation from college was a substitute teacher in Brownwood, Texas, and one of my favorite classes there was a third grade math that I taught.
Sorry, the life of us both being on telecalls.
So yeah, it was a good time.
Good time. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna pick up where we kind of left off a little bit. We're gonna do a little bit of news. So let's start with.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm just trying to picture Charles teaching third graders.
I can see it.
It's pretty easy.
Did they survive?
Oh yeah, not a single one died.
Charles was a good teacher, I'm sure.
Bet you toughened them up a bit.
Hey, he got.
Believe it or not, I have a soft side. Not many people see it, but those classes of third graders did.
But it's a little bit, yeah. There you go. See. All right. Let's
That's
do a
not the
little
same
news.
soft sides we've seen. We shouldn't post those pictures.
Don't post those. Well, we'll get into that. All right.
Let's go. Let's put the shovel down and go.
Let's do the news. As far as I know, puzzle coins are still back. We don't have many left, but I think they're still available. So go get you one. There can't be many left. The coins are.
I was gonna say this isn't on your news, but look at this.
Oh my!
Whoa!
6.0. That's pretty good size.
Yeah, y'all keep that down under. I don't need that in my part of the world.
6 is getting serious. That's where it gets. You're starting to get into the ugly stage when you get to that point. So you can go out to chromiaprint.com. You can go to Geocache Talk, click on the store tab, and check out all the cool stuff in this store.
Buy
Help
some
us
stuff,
out.
support the store.
Yeah,
Support the
help
show.
us out. That's a way to support the network. You get a cool item, and the proceeds go directly to. Well, they go to Chromia Print, but we get a little bit of that. So it helps everybody out. You get something cool, Chromia Print store gets some money, and we get a little bit of that as well, which goes to all the various things we got to pay for.
I was going to say, by we, you didn't mean us.
Not you. Yeah, you get 100%. Yeah, 100% raise, by the way, guys. I guess y'all heard that last night. Y'all get a 100% raise from last year.
That's right. Something's going right when that happens.
100%, baby. Reach the Peaks still going on. Get your hiking boots on. You're going to need them.
You're going to need a heavy jacket, too, because this peak is the highest peak in Antarctica this month. So,
and cold weather is supposedly coming this way. I don't know what's it up your way, Kevin. What's the weather up like? They're like
it's beautiful. We were in the 70s today, so
we're
all right.
Still good up there. Yeah, enjoy it while you can, sir.
The leaves are just starting to change. We were out kayaking yesterday up in upstate New York, and
Nice.
Just starting to get the tinge of color.
Go paint them green again.
I love this season.
That's a lot of work. Yeah, no, I love fall too. I like fall weather, but in Texas it tends to go from summer directly to winter, and that's
winter's coming Thursday.
Right. Winter's coming Thursday, from what I understand. All right. And then lastly, before we get into the show, one last thing I do want to mention. Everybody mark your calendars. December 5th is the date that we are doing the 6th. Can you believe it? We're up to 6 years of doing Podcast to Hope. Yes, sir. And everybody will be on. We've got some cool guests already lined up. As I mentioned, Sunday night, Brian Roth will be with us for the final hour, which hopefully by that point we'll have reached our goal. This year's goal will be 10,000 for St. Jude. Last year we had a goal of 8. We made 10, so I just moved it up to 10. So I figured, what the heck? Let's get to 12. But same kind of deal as last year. We have some great guests, some great shows. We are going to, I know we'll have giveaways. So if you give during certain hours, and some people do that, which is perfectly fine. Some people take and split up their giving for all of the hours, which is great because you get an entry. It's like getting a raffle ticket, you know. You get another ticket because you might win. And there have been some great prizes. And want to move on, but Space Coast gave away 3 coins last year. Arted Crafted gave away a shirt every hour. All the different vendors are so great to work with us and to just basically give away products, and that really, I think, helps because they know they're by doing that, they're definitely the whole thing comes around. I mean, hopefully people are going to still pay. We'll go patron those people, but also that money goes to that's raised. We have a lot more people watching, which means they're going to hopefully give a few dollars. If everybody gives a few dollars, we make it there easily. So, all righty.
Remind me after the show. I have an idea for something for podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
No, it's a good idea. This one's actually, I think, might be a really good idea.
Okay. I'm willing to listen to any and all suggestions. So, all right. Well, Tom, I'm going to let you start going through some of your list, and then we'll kind of work our way down. And I know Charles has a an actual list somewhere. Did you add that to the notes, by the way, Charles? Or
No, but I will. I'll grab it
Okay.
and throw it in there real quick.
Cool. So that'll help give us some other items, and then Kevin's got some that he's added as well since last week. So take it away. Which one you want to start with? You want to start with the top?
I'm gonna start at the top and work down. So just go from there.
Cool.
So we're gonna look at this one.
There's that one. And what I'll do is I'm going to take that and put that in the chat room as well. We're going to look at DC 52 R is in rating, 1 G is in ground. And we're going to talk about that one.
And dig that guy's geo name.
Oh, that made it?
Well, yeah.
Or the cache owner?
Yeah, that's the famous name up by us, an hour from us, not as a geocacher, but the guy who owned the farm where Woodstock took place.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that makes sense with this because this was part of Geo Woodstock.
Yep. The real Woodstock is only an hour from us, though.
Right. The original. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's archived, so we can kind of break this one all the way down, all the components, if we wanted to. But
yeah, but this is just super simple. I'm just going to point out all you got to do here is just add an amount to the north and an amount to the west, and you're done. You just need to know how to do that.
Pretty simple, especially for somebody who's just starting in geocaching. This might be a great way to get their feet wet, you know?
That's how all the puzzles in Texas work, right, Tom?
That's funny.
No. Not even close.
But again, if you're wanting to help, always good to have something that is simple like this, because sometimes it's not, again, you want to get people, sometimes you need to get them into the kids side of the pool or whatever they call it, the
kiddie side of the pool, the shallow end of the
shallow
end.
The shallow end of the.
That one's definitely a shallow end of the pool kind of cache. So, all right, we're moving on.
It is, but if you don't know how the coordinates work, it could be tough for you.
That's true.
But you'll get past ankle deep really quick. All right, let's go to the next one. FQQ1. What do you know? We're in Texas on this one. Get a clue, Texas.
What a shock. 2FQQ1. That's a crazy one.
So this was a fun one. I'm gonna watch on your end. If you scroll down to the chart.
Oh, ooh. Oh, so you have a clue?
It's a two-parter. It's a two-parter.
Right, and then an equation, and then a digit.
So you get a clue. Your answer is going to be 2 words that start in G, and then you do some math to come up with the digit.
Okay.
Huh.
So you can go through the first one.
G is the length of the G word in letters.
Yep.
And C is for
I know the first one.
Okay, who's the first one?
It's a show I don't watch.
That would be George Costanza.
Yeah, that's it.
The sea was angry. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in the deli.
I remember that. I watched the shorts on that. So
pulled it out.
How many letters in Costanza?
He shows the golf.
Costanzo. Is it just Z-O at the end?
Costanza. Can't stand you. Can't stand you.
Canzo. So 8? Or maybe it has.
Hang on, I'll tell you.
I believe it's 8 because George is 6, right?
Stanza. C-O-S like cost. C-S-T-A-N-Z-A.
Oh, and that's the first digit in the chords. Okay.
So that's 8 minus 2. George,
which is 6. It's 2.
George is 6.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, okay.
And these are all pretty simple math things, but that second one there's about the trickiest of them, if you want to even say it's tricky. But
grandfather, you're going to be using growth charts coming. Should I not said that?
That's fine.
Interesting.
So this one was fun.
Yeah. Wow, look at how many people missed this. Look at the checker. Did y'all see the checker?
Oh
yeah.
95 and 351.
That's the kind of checker results you see when it looks like it's really easy, and then there's something that bites you.
Right.
And bites everybody.
And probably some of it is this right here. This G to the C power minus C to the G power.
That's pretty. The Prince song. Let's go.
Go crazy.
Go crazy. Go crazy.
Oh, G to the C power minus G minus C to the G
to
power.
the G power, right?
Okay. Wow, they flip it around.
2 to the 5th minus 5 to the 2nd, so 7. Yeah.
Wow, that's quick.
And then you've got this G squared divided by C minus 1. So if you don't do PEMDAS right, you're gonna this whole thing is gonna be botched, right? So if you don't know your orders of operations when it comes to there's nothing better than to see some of this stuff that some of that stuff that shows up on a Facebook post, and you're like, this plus this minus this divided by this, and you've got stuff in parentheses and stuff not, and people are like, well, it's 0. And you're like,
no.
How the heck did you get 0 out of that? It's 10. It's 10, and they're like, no, well, this minus this. And I was like, no. You got to do the multiplication before you can do the, So it's funny to see some of that orders of operations and people who
bites people.
It matters.
Absolutely. It matters.
What the heck is up with this one clue, though, near the 2/3 of the way down? A singing group. Like gospel choir? Or is it a specific singing group? Tom, do you know the answer to this?
I do know the answer to this.
I'm clueless.
A singing group. Could be anybody. Could be any singing group.
Or is it something more general, like a gospel choir or something?
A singing group would be...
I can't think of anything GC.
A musical choir is a singing group.
Well, right, but that's not G or C. Well, I mean, it's the G part of it.
Yeah.
But you got to have a C plus a G. So
gospel choir would fit.
Now let's make this a little easier.
Yes.
Count up from the bottom.
1, 2, 6.
That's the 6th one up. Now go to the coordinates that are given and count 6 over.
Oh, I see. In other words, we don't need to know.
You don't even need to know that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right. But
so you don't know what that answer is then. You just know what the digit is.
He knows what the numerical value at the end is.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Hey, and some puzzles just work out like that.
Right.
Any way to make
I'm trying to figure out what the next one is, though. I mean, I know what the answer is, but I don't know what it is.
Which one?
The most famous natural attraction in America?
The Grand Canyon?
Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
GC,
okay, so
Grand Canyon.
Okay.
The giant crack in the ground?
Oh, Grand Canyon. So it's 4, 5, 6. That's probably a 4 there.
Okay,
it's
that's
a sequence.
That's sequence. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it made sense to me when I did it, but I didn't remember it now. I don't have notes on this one. I just have. This was back before notes days.
Yep. All right, moving on. You've solved enough of that one.
All right. So
you need to move on. We don't solve puzzles on this show. Oh, let's archive. Then we
RR8Q.
Next one, RR8Q.
Oh gosh.
as in query. Jared's Prison Cache. This one, by the way, is archived, so you can go for broke on this one if you want. But
Yeah, this one kept disappearing. I never got to get this one. Had it solved, but
you mean the cache kept going away?
yeah.
That sucks.
Well, and this one's been archived for a hot minute because look at who the reviewer was that archived it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh.
Prime.
Yeah, but look when it came out.
2005.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh,
One day after I started geocaching.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But is there nothing more frustrating than going through and solving? And I haven't solved a lot. But I'm sure you guys have had this happen many more times than me. Is work through a puzzle, you get it all solved. You're like, yes. You get out to a cache and you're like, where is it? I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Why can't find the cache?
I'm lying to you. I did find this one. This isn't the one I thought it was. Okay. Duh. There's a big smiley face here. It says I found it. Duh.
Yeah, that's the indication.
Way to go, Pinocchio.
Well, there's another prison cache that I wanted that disappeared. So anyway, going down to the bottom, you can see there you got to answer a bunch of questions, count up letters, and then do some math after that. But it's simple. It's super simple math.
Yeah, it's all Google, isn't it? I mean, I was a teacher, but I'm not going to know or care about what's the highest possible score you can get on a 4th grade Texas Assessment of Knowledge test.
You don't know that off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
Come on,
no.
Kevin. Yeah,
I don't want to know. I don't want to care anymore.
You don't want to leave that little piece of info in your brain to rattle around.
It's fun.
You said okay. You said what is the possible score I could get? No. What's the possible score? Okay.
What's the possible score? Anyone can
get. Because that could be 2 very different numbers.
Yes. All right, moving on. Next one.
Moving on. All right, let's go to this one. I just learned something. I don't have to unhide and show. I can just hit show and it jumps right to the next one.
Just add water. Put it in the chat room for everybody. Hello, Facebook user. See when they put when they don't sign in or whatever they do on Facebook, it shows up as Facebook.
I already received it.
When they have a private
I
account.
just got mine.
Yeah, I think you have to sign in on Facebook, or you have to allow them to see whatever. So
there's a button they can press that you provide.
Yeah.
Grants permission.
Hello there.
This one's a little bit kind of like the one we just did, except for you're dealing with anagrams now. So they give you an anagram. They give you a clue.
Right.
You add an H, 2 H's and an O to the anagram to come up with whatever
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, just add water. So, 2 H's and an O. Okay, right. All right, because it didn't make sense with that first one until you said that.
Yeah.
My wood lice idle.
Add 2 H's and an O, another O, and you'll get Hollywood homicide.
You get Hollywood homicide. That's the example. Gotcha.
And then H1 minus H2 gives you a digit of 1.
Yeah.
So just to do, and look, this is just like the other one, 86 right, 103 wrong, but the math
103 wrong.
Math's a little easier on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But just for giggles, let's do the first one. So your anagram is wig. You add H2O to it. You ought to be able to get this one. I jump, you say?
How high?
How high?
How high?
And it just wants to know the number of letters in the first one.
3.
H1.
3.
So H1's 3.
Yeah. H1
that makes sense.
Oh, okay. You're just working down. Some of them, though, get a little trickier. H2 plus the how do you describe that, Kevin? It's the bracketed H2 minus O minus H1.
You're reading them like subscripts. They could have been they would have been difficult to type like that, but yeah, H2 probably the second H and H1 the first H, I guess.
First, it's well, on this one down here, it's 3 words.
Right.
Where's that?
The last
Which one?
On the last 3, the XYZ, instead of being 2 words, you have 3-word answers. There's an H word, an O word, and another H word.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So like the Y. So let's do the Y. Let's do the Y one on there because y'all don't know this one. Falsehood due. Add an H2O, 2 H's and O. What's the filing status on a Form 1040 that would have a HO and a H word?
And if you start a YouTube channel, you can even start making revenue off the ads.
The 1040 EZ.
There's a bunch of PTs who do that kind of stuff.
HOH should be head of household.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get
I
that.
find that a lot of the people that are doing that are selling.
That's not me, though. I haven't put that on my taxes in years.
So when you're on the ground, it's harder
Hey,
to do this.
we can hear Laura, by the way.
Yeah, she's pretty loud.
Nothing I can do about that. I can mute myself. She's on a telehealth conference thing for work, which is why I have the green screen up. So
Oh, no problem.
Just tell her to tell the dude to take some aspirin. He'll get over it.
I don't think that's how that works, but anyway.
All right.
On to the next one.
Long year. This is one you said. Is this
long year?
This isn't that one.
Oh, I did. I looked at this one. This was
this
nasty.
The one you wanted me to
nasty.
check? I didn't have time to check it, by the way, sir.
No, this isn't it. This isn't it.
Okay. All right.
That long year. What was this one? Oh, yeah. Simple math on this one. It is simple. If you know.
Long year is archived. So.
But all you have is a bunch of dates.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That part wasn't hard to figure out. I didn't think it was, a lot of work, but
I would just look at a Julian calendar date for a leap year, which then is the long year, right? And then every single day has a number. Like January 14th would be 14, right? February 1st is day number 32. Right. So you go through that all the way through 366. Each day has a specific number assigned to it. Then you just got to put it in here. And again, if you do the January 6th minus August 20th before you do the multiplication, you're probably going to hose yourself.
Hose it. That's why there's 33 correct answers and 115 incorrect answers.
What I think it was, if I can offer this, because
go for it.
When I hit this one, because I had a chance to look at this one before, and it was like, Charles commented on long year. I didn't see that at all. I mean, I was just like, I went right for the numbers I could get from those dates, and I wasn't going leap year. And if you're not going leap year, you're going to do this and redo this. If you're like me, bang your head against the wall until it finally hits you. Duh, that's why it's called long year. And I mean, I was ruling that out because, look, this one was hidden in 2013. So I figured they wouldn't do that unless it was a leap year when they did it. But I guess I had to learn to think like a Texan.
There you go.
Yeah, so the only reason that I went to that immediately is because I have a geocache in Montrose, Colorado that's called Julian Got Stuck, and it's based off of a Julian date calendar. So if you can't get out of the cache title that you need Julian date numbers, then you're gonna kind of look at these dates and do the same head scratching. But I at least give you month, day, year, And so once you do a couple of them, you'll realize that all of them are leap years, right? And so then you just have to look at the Julian date calendar for leap years instead of trying to look up each individual date, like I've had a couple of people do that have solved it. So,
but
yeah,
you also have to do what you're talking about, Charles, and some people forget. And so they see a multiplication, they see a subtraction, and they don't think about what order they're supposed to be doing them in. So
yeah, and most people just do. Yeah, most people will just do math from left to right, which is how you do it within the orders of operations, right? So you do multiplication and division from left to right. So you don't do all the multiplication first and then all of the division, right? And you don't do all of the adding and then all of the subtracting. You do both multiplication and division and addition and subtraction from left to right as you read the math problem. Right. And so if you don't know that, you know,
you'll flub it.
Again, you're going to hose yourself. My mom was a math teacher for 35 years in the public school system.
Amen.
Right.
And so trust me, if there's anything that I got out of life
was
order of operations.
That's it.
So,
it will goof you up.
Language has rules, and if you don't know the rules, you can't communicate.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm going to add to all that is Excel was my friend.
Yeah. This one, too. Right? Because you could have used Excel with this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. As long as you know, as long as you know how to put it into the spreadsheet to get the numbers out of it.
Right.
Or you could just type into Google and be like,
yeah, right. That's true.
Julian calendar for leap years, and it doesn't matter which leap year it is, they're all going to be the same.
Yeah.
They all have 366 days.
All right, off to the next one.
Okay.
JE7Y.
All right, we're on to the next one. Let me give that.
This is one Gary said couldn't be solved. Now, this has got the answer at the bottom, but don't go to the bottom.
Cannot be solved. It is not a solvable geocache.
Planes, trains, and cars.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. And I can tell you that it does work because I solved it with the automobiles.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Obviously, somebody's figuring it out because it keeps being found.
I think.
Oh, this was down your way again.
Yeah, well, this is not too far from my house. Those planes from Randolph fly right over me all day long.
Yeah, it's right near you. People can find it if they go to Coin Fest next year. Wah, 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 wah. It's in San Antonio next year.
Yeah, see, that's first one. It said solved using automobiles and verified using trains. Oh, wow. And I said I'd leave planes to Dave Robson. He was a local cacher here who was a test pilot. And I said I saw gas for $1.36 today. Man, that was a while back.
That was a while back.
Wow, but apparently it'd been more expensive because I said just wondering when we would see it down from 336. So gas bounces around, but yes, this is solvable.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of word problems. And automobiles to me seem like the simple one.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Well, they're not pretty though, are they?
Yeah.
The page, you mean?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get someone not to use that answer in the hint staring at them when they see all that text above. I wonder how many people actually
attempt to solve it.
Yeah.
He must. That wasn't there when I solved it, so he must have just given up on it and put the answer in because people were bugging him.
That was an 08.
Yeah,
but we're evaluating the puzzle part of it, and go ahead.
The puzzle part's pretty cool. I like it.
It is tricky,
Harold.
but I kind of like it though.
All right, moving on. J38.
Next one. This one.
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, that big number there. No, you know what? The first thing that comes to my mind when I look at that, you guys have all seen those puzzles where I have one of my own that's it's a large semi-prime, a number that is the product of two prime numbers, and factor it, and you get the two sets of digits that are your coordinates. But this is not that, because there's way too many digits in this one.
Sure.
For that.
This one is not that difficult.
No.
This one's called Smash Bulk, which I assume means
Read it backwards.
Sam's Club, right?
Oh,
So I'm assuming I'm going to the Sam's Club in Midland.
I see something else that would work just right here, I think.
It's one simple function, and you're done
Yes.
with this one.
That just confirmed my thought, though, because you look at the length of that number, and it's about double the length of what I want this to be, roughly, or something. Speaking, that's
we just
do I dare say square root it? Yeah,
yeah.
That was what I was about to do.
Look at Gary's like, let me make notes over here. Hang tight.
Hang on.
All right, we can move on now.
Well, when he said that the length of it, and then when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, maybe that's
So what's the easy way to make a number half of the digits that it is, at least at this length?
roughly speaking.
Just take some white out and go across the screen.
But hey, this is encouraging because there are 14 correct answers and only 3 wrong ones.
Yeah, that is encouraging.
What's sad is there's only 14 correct ones.
If you don't get the trick, you probably don't come up with something that's even worth trying in the geochecker.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this one's been out for a hot minute too. It's got to have been, from 2008, because deconning is
that used to be West Texas
Reviewer, and he's no longer with us either. So
also passed away.
Yeah.
I actually met him. Yeah.
Yep. I've been to a couple of events where he was there. He's a great guy. I really enjoyed hanging out with him and talking shop. So the other one that you'll see a lot is Tramlaw.
We're coming up on that.
Oh, is there a Tramlaw one in here? All right. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait then.
I don't want to tell you how long it took me to figure out what that was.
The
Tramlaw?
I'm not always a genius.
That's the same as the Smash Bulk.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you read it Tramlaw backwards, it spells Walmart.
I've seen a lot of down here. We see a lot of Tramlaw. Caches.
A lot of Tramlaw caches. So, all right, let me pull up this next one. The root of the matter.
Another one.
The root of the matter. Get it?
Yeah, that kind of should tell you where to start with this.
Ooh.
Probably where to finish too.
People can follow along. GC 38301. That has to be an old one. Is that an old one?
2011. It's been archived, so it's a good one to throw out there and look at.
The root of the matter.
This would be a really cool, semi-easy one to copy and make new. So
I like that it gives you parking trailhead coordinates too.
Oh yeah, that's funny. And you can check your answer on this puzzle on Geochecker.
Check your math.
Oh, I went the wrong direction, I think.
Once you have the final coordinates.
Bark.
Ah,
there it is.
Somewhere in
Okay.
Marymore, Seawright Metropolitan Park.
Boy, that worked out nice and pretty. You didn't see it coming, though, at first. I
Right.
didn't.
Right, that's on the south side of Austin, so that one's not too bad to get to for me.
So I wonder if at this, where they give you I wonder if there is a dog park section in this park.
Probably. That's what I was figuring.
That's what I was looking at and thinking of as well.
Been too long since I've been there. I couldn't tell you. Off to the next one.
The cache is gone.
It is.
J30.
So if you want to do this one and you can't figure it out, email Tom.
Hey, I'll help anybody out.
And Tom will help you out because he's got the answer for it.
What's funny is you wrote third cache of the day on the way to a signing of the Texas County Challenge log. Took the hard way in and the less hard way out.
Yeah, not the easy way, just less hard.
Less hard. I tell you, there are a lot of people listening right now that have done exactly that. They've taken the hard way in and the less hard, not the easy way, but the less hard way out.
Hey, sometimes from the final point of view, you're like, oh, that's a much easier way to get out. Yeah, may not be the easy way, but it may be much easier than the way you went in the first time. So this is.
I was going to say real quick.
Oh, you did go to that one. All right.
Haven't we all walked to a cache and went, when you get right to the cache, you're like, oh, there's a trail here.
Yeah. You're like, where was this on the map?
Yeah, I didn't see a trail. Oh, look. Susan, I think we could walk out from here this way.
Yeah.
You made me traipse through the thicket, the brush to get to this, and there's a trail? Okay, all right, we're moving on.
So here's our tram law.
Tram law. There's a lot of Walmarts up there, Kevin? I guess there's some.
Probably not as many as you have, but yeah, we've got our share. We don't have many stores right by me. I have to drive 15 minutes to find anything that's not the next, house or something. But we got a Walmart about 15 minutes drive. I'm curious, while you're on Walmart and Sam's Club, though, for a geocacher in Texas, do you derive any kind of advantage knowing that something is a Walmart? Does that mean it's actually going to end up at the Walmart, or do you know anything more about? Is there anything in the style of puzzle, or? It's
usually a skirt lifter.
Yep, it's going to be a skirt lifter in the parking lot. So if your coordinates put you out in the middle of a grass field, you probably need to redo your math somewhere.
Okay. Either that or go by there. It's brand new, right?
I was say it's a brand new Walmart, and on Google, it's still a field. That happened.
Yeah, Up in the Northeast, we have a brand of puzzle caches that are almost like an inside joke, and I don't want to go too far into it and take away from this. But Cracker Barrels used to have lots of geocaches on their front porches, and then they kind of kiboshed that, and they weren't allowed anymore. So people started hiding geocaches at Bob Evans Farms, and they called them OYR, Off Your Rocker Wannabes. Off Your Rocker was the name that they all, just like this is tram law. Yeah, Off Your Rocker was Cracker Barrels. But there's a style of puzzle to them too, and I didn't even think of including something like this in this. Another time, guys. I'll be quiet. Yeah. Let's get on to this.
I like it though. I like that idea though.
So what do you do to this one?
Are we on tram law? Which one are we on?
Yeah, the tram law. So it's tram law Midland South.
And you got to get 3 digits out of it.
Perform the mathematical function.
I did.
It's not a mathematical function. It is the. All right. So there's no hidden text on the.
Nope.
Oh, it's roots and 25 cents.
Oh, okay.
So what is 25 cents, Gary?
Quarter. Yeah.
Quarter. Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Quarter.
I was close.
Yeah.
So instead of square roots, you're looking for
A fourth.
quarter roots. Yeah, fourth root.
Ooh. Is there a way to
Or
Google
take
that?
the square root and the square root if you want, I suppose. But
Yep, that's how I did it.
Yeah, let's say square root of square root.
Cheaters.
Darwell
raise
says
it
he
to the
has,
1/4 power.
he has some called
It works.
rat straw. I didn't think about that.
Oh, I
That is-
like that.
But that does fit too. Rat straw. Like, oh, rat straw? No, not rat straw. Rats raw straw. Star Wars. So
Off to the next one.
the square root of the square root,
KV53s.
and the
Oh,
next
this-
one is
Another one.
sim-
This is the one you said
Oh,
you didn't think was right either,
simple math.
but it is.
that comment was mine. I take the blame for that one, Tom.
Kevin says that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Kevin's.
Gary said seriously on that planes, trains, and automobiles, and then on this one he didn't think the math was right, but it is.
No, that's Kevin, not me.
Yeah, this is me
Oh,
on this one because I'm looking
Kevin.
at this and it's asking
Look at the
how precise do they want you to be as far as like how many seconds? I mean,
well. Look at this. Look at certitude. Apparently, got to be real accurate, Kevin, because certitude has 10 correct and 807 incorrects.
I saw that and I contributed 2 of those.
Well, that's good.
Down.
Way to go. We've all been there. This is GC8K as in kayak, V as in virtual, 5-3.
So it says how many seconds are there in a year? 12.
Times.
That's of course it's too easy.
So the question
It's-
is, how many seconds are there in a year?
There are 12 seconds. There's January 2nd, February 2nd.
Oh no!
You're kidding me. That's what it was?
no.
Oh, okay.
That is
But
simple
that
math,
would've
though.
That would have been real simple, but no, it's
That would
Which-
explain the 807 down. But
I like. You're right. I like. You like what they said though at the beginning with new math and old math.
Right.
Whichever you use, keep it simple. Just remember, two apples does not make an orange. What? You're gonna think about that one.
you just get to the easy question. How many seconds are there in a year?
There's got to be more to it.
All right. So what's your simple thing on doing this? Let's just start simple.
Start simple. I'm going to pull up
start multiplying. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Start multiplying. There's 12 months.
I'm gonna pull the page source up, and I'm gonna start searching through HTML code.
I wouldn't
No,
start with
Too much? Did I start off too much? Shouldn't go there.
no, I wouldn't start with months. I'd start with 60
No,
times 60.
So
Jump
there,
into the
there are
jump
31,556,952 seconds. There are 3,600 seconds in an hour, right? So seconds in a year calculation, 1 year equals 365.2425 days.
But that's not exactly right. That's an approximate. Right?
Are we asking a mathematician or a scientist?
Both.
well,
You-
That's not
Seconds
enough
in-
digits.
You went.
seconds in a year
what-
depends on what year you're in, right?
What? No.
Are you
No.
in a year?
No.
No.
Charles, what did you say?
So it's
365 point what?
2425.
You're very, very, very close. It's slightly. You're off in the 4th decimal place.
Wow.
That's not how many seconds are in a year, though.
Yes.
That's how many. That's how many days are in a year.
Days are in a year.
Right.
On
Yeah,
but
you got to,
average.
but you got to have that days to come up with the seconds.
Well, right. So that's where we're asking, like, how precise are you wanting to be? I mean, because no lie, the 0.2425 is not where it ends. Like, it goes several digits past that. Right. So then how many sig figs are we going? Right. How many significant figures are we going beyond the decimal? Right. Because pi doesn't end here. Right.
Sure.
I'll tell you it's 4, and you're off a little. You're just off a hair.
Did you guys notice, though, in the certitude, it's a key word required, not a number? I guess that would be the number, though, wouldn't it? I guess. It's not coordinates.
Yeah, it's a number.
Right. So I've got two different. So what I did was typed in seconds in a year into a Google search and hit enter. I have two websites, one on top of the other. One is rapidtables.com and one is riddlebrainteasers.com. And they are both different, but both very close in the grand scheme of things, right? So one has it at 31,556,952 seconds. The other one has it at 31,556,909 seconds. Ooh, right? So when you're less than 40 seconds off one from the other, that's where that fourth digit in a fraction of a day comes into play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was my problem with this, is that
so unless you're going to sit here and unless you have something where you can sit here and be like, oh, well, this is, if you can, right? So when the fourth digit is different, the fourth, past decimal digit is different on multiple websites and multiple scientific forums, then you need to stop at the last digit that makes sense, right? That is similar across the board, right? And so if the digit that stops being the similar is 242, if the next digit is 5, 7, 6, 3 on multiple different websites, now your data and your math problem are going to be inaccurate, and that's where you're going to have inaccuracies like this. And I would call it a ding on the cache owner, and shame on them for putting something out there like this. Because if you're going to make us go to that many significant digits in the decimal, right, then it needs to be something that is standard across the board, like this number. This number is never going to change. And I think I have it wrong right here at the very end. Yeah. But this number is never going to change. The digits are always going to be the same. So when I pull a puzzle out of somewhere that tells you that I need you to go to the 10 millionth digit of pi, the 10 millionth digit will always and forever be whatever, an 8, right? And so in this, where the fourth digit past the decimal point is different on multiple different websites and multiple different scientific and mathematical web pages, you now have created a puzzle that is, I'm not going to say unsolvable, but that is one that is going to give people the wrong answer.
Yeah. Right. And Charles, you read I just wrote down your final digits in there. There's a huge number of integers in between the two answers that you gave me from two different websites approximation of the average number of seconds in a year, which means that any of those answers in between could have been that. And Kitty Catch, I see that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the thing is that what would have been better, and I don't know that this certitude lets you have a range for anything other than coordinates, but having a range of possible right answers would have ended up making sense for this.
I think you can.
Outside of this.
Yeah, certitude will let you have.
Certitude will let you have what we call fuzzy math.
Fuzzy math, yeah.
For just a number, though, not just for the coordinates?
I'd have to look into it. I know for the coordinates, like if you put coordinates in, it'll let you, go a range of digits. On the off chance that you'll do something like this where the fourth digit may be different, but you could sit there and run this to where it's, so many, you could sit there and run it for 2424, 2425, 2426, 2427, right? And come up with all of the different answers,
Potentials,
potentials, and so
that's probably what people did.
And there's about 40 different answers between the two that you mentioned. So, you'd be guessing a long time on this one.
Right, exactly.
Did you actually get a green light?
Yeah, I did. I was first to find on it.
Huh.
What's funny?
You only have half the rant down though, dude. Because think about it. They're all 242 something, right? So let's say it's 242. You run through the whole range of that, and you've got 10 answers to check.
Well,
Okay?
right,
but hold on. That's half your rant. That's the only part you went to.
Okay.
Let's go to the rest of the rant. You have to put that in certitude. So, do you put commas in or not? And how many decimal points after on his end on your answer?
Yeah.
And I think that might be where the two apples orange thing may have come in. I don't know, because somehow I got it right, and I only went 2 decimal places in the answer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, so on something like this, I don't live in Texas, and I haven't lived there in a long time. I come back and visit, but this one would go on my ignore list, and I don't even live. I live 1,000 miles from this cache, and it is already on my ignore list. Because the cache owner created such a wonky puzzle that doesn't have there is no definitive answer to this, depending on, right? Because the 2425 or 2424 is not the end of it. There really is 365.24275369 days, right? If we want to get down to the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this part. The difficulty is 4.5.
Yes.
And only 10 people have messed with it. So I imagine it's on a lot of people's ignored lists. It wasn't on mine because this is a mile from my house. And if you put a puzzle cache within a mile of my house, I have to solve it.
I mean,
but that
Diana
explains
makes my brain hurt. I was really good at math, but damn.
Yeah.
10 right, 807 wrong. We know exactly why it's that way now because they're just guessing till they get it
They're
right.
Close, right.
So instead of putting this on my ignore list, I'm just going to be really good friends with Tom and ask him for the last 2 digits of his final answer.
Yeah,
I may not even the rest. I may not even go that far, but I know where there's a big giant anthill down there in the San Antonio area, and I know where I can get me some zip cuffs and a bottle of honey. Don't think that I can't get the answer out of him.
Right.
Zip tie him, cover him in honey, and throw him out there in an ant pile. He's giving that answer up.
Just hand me a beer, I'll talk.
Whataburger, number 4.
Number 4 Whataburger. I'll give you hints too. I might even find it for you.
One of my favorite Texas things, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, that and Rudy's barbecue. But anyway,
Rudy's is good.
Rudy's is about a mile from the house.
Oh gosh!
I like what one person wrote. We'll move on. But this is getting this cache logged while I was waiting for my calculator to recover from
Yeah. All right, so we're going to the pie ones next.
Let's move on.
Okay, on we go then.
Did we do?
I think we did.
Remember.
I think that's left over. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to suggest that. Well, okay, they're mine, I guess. So I'm going to jump out of order on mine. I'm going to skip over number 5 and number 9 there and go right to Ackerson's View.
Okay. Let's start with
QVF, all right.
Because I think we did those last week, Charles. Sorry about that.
No big deal. I haven't caught up on last week's show.
Yeah, we did the pie ones, which was fun. So
I've got a pie puzzle. I've got a pie puzzle one, so I like those ones.
Yeah, those are cool. We talked about pie a little bit.
Board info
95 QVF Ackerson's View.
Oh, this
Ooh, where's this?
What's up,
Joyzy.
Noah?
Okay.
What's up,
Jersey.
Joyzy?
What exit?
Are you from Joyzy? I'm from Joyzy. You from Joyzy?
Lord have mercy.
Joe Piscopo.
There's a boy. There's a boy down the Koi beating warm worms.
Just park the car. Park the car.
In the Star Market parking lot. That's more Boston, isn't it?
To all our
It
viewers
is.
up north, we apologize.
We apologize.
A little bit.
Oh.
This is
Don't
a
tell
letterbox, by the way.
Don't tell us you don't make fun of us.
Yeah, really.
Wait, this is a letterbox hybrid? Oh,
It's a letterbox hybrid. Yep.
But you got to use math to get to it. All right. So the earliest burial dates are 1793, and a birth year of 1777 is visible on one of the stones near the entrance. While here, ponder the views of yesteryear. Picture the Polinskill River. Did I say that right?
I see if I can get back in here.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Am I back in?
Yep.
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 All right, sweet. Let me get this out of the way. Sorry, I think
Yeah, you're fine.
I got booted. Okay, I
We're
can
just-
hear you, Charles. Oh, pollen skill is what that is.
Polinskill.
Yeah. So this is not too far from us, but this is by actually another math teacher, a current math teacher. Paul, his real name is, and puts out some interesting hides. It was a tricky little hide with this one. But what I thought was cool about this one is that a lot of the math that we've been talking about has basically been arithmetic or algebra. This one here is a little more geometry involved and applied geometry because you guys have been caching for a long time too, and you remember that letterboxes in the early days, letterbox hybrids were ones that typically involved not just handing the coordinates away, but actually doing some kind of projection. So this guy actually has you do a projection here, and but he doesn't just do what a lot of projection ones do now. He actually doesn't just give you the distance and
the direction.
He makes you figure that out.
That's cool.
I suspect some people maybe get this wrong because they look at those numbers. Yeah, good. Thank you for highlighting that. So
26 degrees north of due east. Gary, what direction is due east in degrees on a compass?
Oh gosh, due east. Can I cheat? I guess I can't cheat. Well, north would be 0.
Were you
East
an
would be
age
90?
that's
90?
right.
So
Okay.
90. So 26
I'll take
degrees
90.
north of 90. So you need to do a mathematical equation,
This way for you guys.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
I can't do
26
So-
degrees north of 90.
Right.
There we
So
go.
you need to subtract 26 from 90, right?
Right.
Which you go from 90, and now you're going to start creeping back up towards.
What year were you born, Gary? It's going to be close.
That's true. I was born in 64, so that's
Well,
not
there
the
you go.
answer. Is it? What was how many was I doing? What was the
20.
total?
Yeah, that's
minus
right.
26 is 64.
It is 64. Yeah.
I forgot the number that he told me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
26 degrees north of due east. So 90 minus
Oh,
26. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I like the way that he does that because some people will be like, due east.
Yeah. He's
What-
not
what
done
is-
with the tricks though yet. Look at the other thing that he did. I mean,
That
this
would
is a
get you
little minor.
close enough.
You
That's
see
cool,
what else? See what he said for distance?
110 yards.
Yards,
Right.
not feet. Yards.
Yeah.
Yards. Oh.
Well, and so if you really want to mess with people, and I have seen a couple of military themed puzzles like this where they put it in meters, and then
Yes.
instead of putting it in degrees on a compass, if you were to shoot artillery or mortars when you were in the military, you used a system called mils.
Mm.
And there are 6,400 mils in a circle.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So it is a more precise
Right.
math because you're lobbing
Yeah.
artillery rounds, right? And so it needs to be a little more precise when you're launching something miles.
You said 6,400
mils in a 360-degree circle.
360. Okay, wow.
So right, so you can
1600 for 90 degrees. You're right. There's a lot of mils in a right angle.
360.
right. So when you start seeing some of that stuff, I'm working on a couple of math-based puzzles that are coming from when I was in Pathfinder school, and you had to calculate where a paratrooper would forward throw out of a. So as a paratrooper jumps out of a plane, you have to account for forward throw and then wind speed and direction, and where he lands is where I'm going to put the geocache, right? So I'm going to tell them, you jump out of the airplane at this spot, and then you have to calculate forward throw and then wind speed and direction drift, at a constant rate until they land on the ground, and wherever your calculations put you will then be where the geocache is. But I like this yards and 26 degrees north of due east. It's something different that you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny too is I like using some of those old, we talked about last week, but I like using some of those old, like a league or now.
Yeah.
I used a cubit in one puzzle, but I made sure and distinguished which type of cubit to use.
Right.
I didn't want to fall into what Charles was talking about before. I didn't want people to be trapped between two different.
Because there are multiple cubits depending on where you were in the world.
Right.
Whether you were using a
Egyptian cubit or a Jewish cubit or.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
But those are fun to use, like using mils, or for us down here too. I think using meters is kind of a fun thing to use because in the U.S. we don't really. I mean, we kind of know meters to a point, but most everybody is using imperial in the U.S. Meters wouldn't mean anything to a Canadian or an Aussie or anybody who uses metric all the time.
Anybody else in the rest of the world except for
everybody else,
the three countries in the world that are stuck on the imperial units.
Which then I would suggest if you live in one of those countries, it would be fun to make a puzzle that uses imperial just for the fun of it, just to be different.
Yeah.
So are fizzies imperial or metric?
What are you talking about, fizzy?
No.
The fizzy loop? You know about that kind of fizzy?
No, but it's got to do with the same thing. The guy whose fizzy loops are made of has a program called PhysiCalc.
Oh, yeah, he does have
one of the
PhysiCalc.
many things they'll do for you is projections, and one of the measurements is fizzies.
Yeah, it's fizzies. That's funny. Yeah. Fizzy Magic has a thing called PhysiCalc. Yeah. I can give that to people too, real quick. Anyway, y'all
throw that in there because I use that one. I used to use it a lot.
PhysiCalc.
He's got both types of units in there.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All righty.
Is that the front yard or the backyard?
And Captain Math just found that one very recently. You just did.
Just did that. That was Sunday. Yeah, beautiful day.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Glad you brought that one up.
So
nice long log there, cool.
Gary, I lost. I think when I got knocked out, I lost my set of links. Do you still have the show notes there that you can bring up the next one?
Yeah. So you want to do the mathematical tour of Kansas City?
Oh yeah, please. That would be great. This is one of my own too. This was put out some years ago. I worked with the College Board as an AP stat reader, and what we would do is with a good friend. I'm going to give a shout out to Dave Hickman, who was a heck of a great guy for helping put together some really amazing events that the two of us would co-host, and we found a lot of people who were AP stat readers that became geocachers because they came out to our events in Kansas City. But this puzzle of mine here was one of the ones I put out one year to suck those math geeks in to do this sort of thing. So it's a 6-stage puzzle that the first stage is on this page. And so, you have the GC number there handy.
GC 7Q WHC.
And if you scroll down after that, you'll see the puzzle. That's what we want, that little square.
Okay.
Or is it a square? And what it tells you, I think I have it in the hint or just below in text. There we go. So the areas of squares C and D are 64 and 81 respectively. So there's no ugly arithmetic in this one. The arithmetic is not an issue at all. This is just plain geometric reasoning and logic. And so we have at it. So you look at C and D. So tell me what you know about square C. And you are given that C and D those two figures are squares.
Oh, they're perfect squares.
Mm-hmm.
No,
of course they are. All squares are perfect.
that's true. Well,
Otherwise, they're rectangles.
That's what I'm about to say. Then it would be a rectangle. But
How far do you have
to get a rectangle?
So A times B, right, or length, height and length multiplied by each other will give you the area. So if you square root the area, right, you will see that C is the square root of 64 is.
Oh, because it gives you areas of C and D. Sorry.
Right.
Yes.
And the square and 80. So
and
81 is so
9.
Right. So you know that 8 and 9 are here. So you can guess that J is 1 by 1.
That's right. You could be short. It's 1. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Good.
Now you know what a unit in his world is. Right.
Yes. Now,
Right.
can you keep it going now that you know that C is 8 by 8, D is 9 by 9, and J is 1 by 1?
Can you keep going?
Right. So E
What
is
can you
10 by 10. E is 10 by 10 because D is 9 plus this 1 to get on J means that E is 10 by 10, right?
Well, no, it's yeah. Oh, okay. I'll follow you.
Yes. Mama was a math teacher.
Look-
Crazy.
Yeah. Look at the way squares D and E are back to back against each other, except
Sure.
that E is
Except for the
just
J.
Yes, and J is 1 by 1. So E
Right.
must be 1 unit taller
Bigger.
than D.
1 unit taller. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
if D is 9 by 9, then E is 10 by
It's
10,
by 10.
right?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Um,
Now it gets the plot thickens.
Is your house of cards starting to fall? Here we go.
Starting to collapse on us.
so G plus H is 11.
Good.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah.
So G plus H is 11, right? So now figuring out roughly G and H, but you
G, H, and C is the same as E and D.
Okay.
right,
That's another way to say it.
right.
Yep.
So
What's G?
G is going to be
I'd say by looks of it, I'm going to say it's 4.
Yeah, that should be 4.
yeah.
Which then gives you B.
Mm-hmm. You have C
Right.
and H, so that'll give you B.
It
So
also
that'll
give,
be B.
it'll also give you F.
Yes.
And if you got F and G, then you got A.
Yep.
Now
G
without
is the key.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just
Yes.
saying G is the key in that.
Yeah, that was nice to say.
Yeah, G is the key.
But I should have focused your attention on what the question was in the first place. Your
Oh.
goal is to find the area of the large rectangle.
Oh, there you go now.
So how wide, I should say, from left to right is that square? Charles, you were saying this before. I was just kind of silently laughing to myself about a square and versus a rectangle on this one.
Right.
How wide is that thing, and how tall is that thing
So
that
you
looks
need
like a square?
You need A and B, and you need A and F, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you the rectangle.
That's it. And maybe we don't even have to go as far as like saying what those numbers are, but to get those and multiply them is a piece of cake then once you have them, right?
Right. But you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta get to that point. That's cool though. I
Yeah.
like that one.
I found.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. So
I'm
I
just
found
gonna-
one.
Okay, my turn. I'm just going to add that in light of Charles, what you had said before, that thing is drawn to scale. And you look at it, and if I said that was a square, I'm sure you guys wouldn't have doubted me. But it turns out it's just a little bit off from being a square, which is what you'll end up finding out after you end up getting those numbers, which all you have to do is write them down, and you'll see how they work. But You're on, Charles. Go ahead.
So I found one similar to this, though instead of squares, there was a big giant triangle. And within it, there were a bunch of other numbers written up in this giant right angle triangle, right? Mm-hmm. And so then there were some other numbers in there, and they gave you a couple of random degrees for the angles of triangles, right? And so if you know anything about the angles in a triangle, that all three have to equal 180, right? So all three. So what they did was gave you random of the sub-triangles that were inside this big right triangle that there was, and then they had B, C, A, Q, and so you had to solve, the degrees for this one and the degrees for that one. And that's how you got the final for it. I was looking for it earlier today in between some things while I was at work and couldn't find it, but I printed it off and sat down and did about the same thing. I was like, all right, so this one is this, and that means that this one has to be this because this is 90 degrees, right? So you're like, this has to be, but it was along the same concept, but instead of squares, it was angles within a triangle.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of fun to do and see.
Love it. Telling my past students watching, they probably recognize this puzzle because I would use this all the time with my classes over the years in teaching geometry. And some of them have gone on and been sucked into this hobby called geocaching now. And now it's like their homework becomes a puzzle they want to solve to find a geocache. Go me. But anyway.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but you use math every day.
We all use math every day.
Every day.
That's all we do. We all do.
Kevin's favorite.
Charles proved
line.
on this one, though, that he didn't need the covers off the books. He actually read them.
Okay.
Moving on.
What's the next GC number there so I can pull it up and see it?
You bet.
9711A.
11A.
Coast Guard Road 3, the point.
Oh, gee, I messed up.
Coast Guard Road, number 3, the point.
Oh, yes. I have another shout out to give on this one then. So, again, give that to me. It was, I want coordinates.
So, GC 9711 Alpha.
Okay. So, this is done by a former Marine. I guess you're not ever a former Marine.
You're a former. You're never an ex.
Yeah.
You're never an ex-Marine. Yeah.
And he's also retired from teaching math and AP statistics, and he's now a geocacher who lives in coastal North Carolina. And he is taking his area of coastal North Carolina and turning it into a geocaching wonderland. So Colin Mayo, shout out to you. He is Chairman 73. And so I'm just featuring a couple of his caches because he lets his math side out. But don't think for a second that means all of his puzzles are strictly math related or something like that. He's coming out with gadget caches and other things, and he's only been geocaching now for a fairly short time, but he's coming out with really creative stuff. But anyway, this one, The Point, is one, and I love what he did here because it works out. It's Coast Guard Road number 3 because it's his third hide on Coast Guard Road.
Right.
So, but that will cycle around in a little bit. So you could scroll down and see the puzzle.
Coast Guard Road. Yep.
And those
he is way out there on the point. Or at least this cache is.
Yes.
Way out there on Point Emerald Villas is out there near Land's End in North Carolina.
So he gives you encrypted final coordinates.
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he designed this puzzle to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. But do not forget to bring your own pencil. Thanks to Captain Math for encouraging me to create my own puzzle caches, and Soul427 for the puzzle cache tutorial geo art she created in Silver City. Happy hunting.
And I really should have used some of hers because she's got some great puzzles for teaching puzzle solving. But let's go ahead. Yeah.
So in this, you have to decrypt these coordinates here to end up in the final. And somehow you need to end up at North 34 out of 1021.
Right.
And the same thing for West 77. You need to get West 77 out of 2212. Right. So whatever, you can run that through, but Coast Guard Road number 3. And then he says it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Kind of makes me think that I need to do something with a 3 in it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no 3s in his points though.
That's a good point. But
1 0
it is
0
a good point.
2 2 2 2 1 2 0 1 1 1. That's pretty funny.
What are the chances that in all these numbers that every single digit you see there would be a 0, 1, or 2? I mean, it kind of makes you wonder if that wasn't just random chance, but that maybe that was by design. Charles is shaking his head from everything else he was saying before.
Coordinates updated.
Awesome. Folks at home, you playing at home, that's the thing that you want to end up noticing, because when you see a very limited digit set there, certain bases of numbers limit the kind of digits that you can use. And I'll probably not go any farther than that. But Charles was excellent at emphasizing just the things you needed to hear. And Colin, who created this, was brilliant in choosing to use that number 3 for his third cache, not just because it was his third hide, but the number 3 plays a part in this.
Yeah, I like it.
My first 2 puzzles were Hep to be square and Stalag 17, so I knew what to do on these pretty quick. What sucked was I did the math on all of them to come up with the coordinates, to make the coordinates for the things, not knowing that there was online stuff that would do this for you just like that.
Yeah.
Hip to be square.
I thought it was going to take people weeks to figure it out, and
they Googled it.
No. It was, came out about at night, and 7 o'clock the next morning they were both found. So
there you go. Let's go to Coast Guard number 4. What do you say?
Okay, that sounds good.
That's 97 Buzz.
Yeah, I don't need a copy of this one open. Yeah, you're right where you need to be.
97BZZ. Boy, I would be so tempted.
Yeah.
To put a cache out there that looks like a beehive.
Hey, just switch your banner there. So, there we go. Good. Buzz. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that was a neat catch on your part. That would be cool.
But alas, it is not. It's a math puzzle. Well, it can still be a math.
I like this because the number of prime numbers less than 140. So when I was in 7th grade math, we had to do some a math based project. Well, I ended up with they were handing out mathematicians, and you could choose any of the things that these different mathematicians did, and you had to do a project based on a math thing that this mathematician back in history had made. Well, I ended up doing a math project on the sieve of Aristophanes.
Oh, the sieve, yeah.
And so that is how it funnels out all these prime numbers. And so at the end, I ended up with a deal at the bottom that showed you every prime number between 0 and I think 200.
Beautiful.
And so it was kind of fun. I was like, oh, the prime number is less than what I know where to find this answer pretty quickly.
It is a beautiful thing to see. The Sieve of Eratosthenes. I like in this puzzle that he's got like kind of a smorgasbord of different math offerings. I mean, this is kind of like oh gosh, I can't think of the word right now. What do they call the when you go into a special restaurant? Charcuterie.
Right.
If I'm saying it right. Yeah, this is like a charcuterie of math or something.
Exactly.
But there was one in there in addition to the one you mentioned. Where is it? There it is, D, the number of combinations. So
that's the one I've been looking at.
that's kind of one of the ones that makes it's kind of sad that we don't do more with that for everybody, every student in math. But the number of combinations refers to how many different ways could you choose two things taken from a group of 13 if the order in which you list them doesn't matter. So if you had a deck of 13 cards and you shuffled them up, suppose you'd used only the spades. So you'd have 13 spades and that's, you're not playing with a full deck, right? You shuffle them up and deal out two cards. There you go. But if you were dealt the king of spades and the 10 of spades in any card game that you know, that's going to be counted the same as if you were dealt the 10 of spades and the king of spades, right? The order in which you're dealt the cards doesn't matter because you could move them around within your hand. So this is asking, what's the number of combinations of
13 objects
taken two at a time? So you're choosing 2 of 13.
Or for those of us who sometimes make short-term investments in a highly volatile market, that's a 13 horse exacta. It's up for you. Left out one combination.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 13 horses in a race. Yeah.
So in figuring this out, just let the teacher go on this one, I think, for a little bit. There's how many different ways could you choose the first one? You have 13 objects to pick from. So there's 13 different, let me go back to talking about cards. There's 13 cards that you could possibly be dealt first. Anything from ace through king or 2 through ace or however you count it. But then for each of those options, then you can't be dealt that same card again because it's already been dealt to you. So you can't get king of spades, king of spades. You get king of spades and any of the other 12.
So it's 13 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 9 all the way down till you run out of it. And whatever that number is at the end that's all added up, that is the number of combinations that you can get.
Or even better yet.
You're taking too much long in a betting line. I want to hurry up and bet on this race.
So on this one, what you could do is you could say, hey, there's 13 ways to choose my first card. And for each of those, there's 12 ways to choose my second card. So you could just go 13 times 12.
12.
Except for one thing, 13 times 12 will go too high on you because that's that's counting king of spades and queen of spades is different than the other way around. So you're going to do 13 times 12 divided by 2 to make up for the fact that the order doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Order doesn't matter. Okay, I got you.
I thought it was 13 times 12, and then you just subtract 1.
No, it's 13 times 12 divided by 2.
2, and then minus 1.
Right.
Whatever your total is.
If you did 13 times 12 and just that, Tom, then you'd have king of spades, queen of spades, king of spades, jack of spades, king of spades, ten of spades, and keep on going like that. Yeah. Okay. But you'd also have in there, you'd have like 10 of spades, king of spades, and you'd be counting that as if
twice.
It was a new hand of cards. You'd be counting that twice.
Right.
And
but in the horse race that counts, so that's why I did the.
The word.
I didn't say quinella. I said exactus.
That's right. So the word combinations in math strictly means that the order doesn't matter, like a deck of cards. And the thing that you're thinking of has a similar name. It's called a permutation, where the order does matter. So your horse racing example, where the order matters. You'd be doing a permutation. You just wouldn't be dividing by that.
We didn't have quinellas here, so we
Okay.
did it first, but they got rid of them.
Yeah.
One more to do.
One more.
Tonight.
Okay.
One more. We'll do one more, then we'll wrap up. We're gonna do
We're All Crazy Here.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's do that one.
All right.
We're gonna have extras. We'll have extras in the show notes if y'all want to look at.
Yeah.
We've got a bookmark list you can look at. And we've got some puzzles that look like math but aren't. So those will be cool. So we'll keep those. They'll be in the show notes. If you go out to the Geocache Talk website, go up at the top, pick show notes, and you'll see the show notes every week.
Did I not get this one? We're All Crazy.
This one I literally heard about today when a friend of mine who's gonna also be going down to Going Caching
cool.
coming up asked me for some help on this one, and I had previously found this one, and as we were chatting on it, and it was like when I had done the puzzle before, I kind of forgot then what I had done before. It kind of comes back to me, and it's like, wow. So I love this puzzle, and in general, I love I don't know his last name, but Poker Luck. He's a Eastern Tennessee geocacher, and he has a wonderful series of puzzles. We're All Crazy Here. They're in the form of a geoart, or 4 geoarts, I might say. There's 4 question marks that would appear in the general area, I'm going to say, of Knoxville, maybe south of Knoxville, Tennessee. So people from the Northeast going down to Going Caching. Likely, if they're taking 81 down, will probably go very close to going through his caches. And I don't remember her name, but there's another person who chipped in on writing these puzzles. Cool. This was a great one to share, I thought, because of 2 things. If you look at this is not the way it was intended to be done, but it's something that puzzle solvers, geocaching puzzle solvers, need to learn. Is that you look at that list of there's 10 rows of weird code there,
right?
And when you experienced puzzle solvers know that if you hear that there's 10 things that you're dealing with there to decode, oftentimes that means that one of each of those gives you one of the last 10 digits in the coordinates. That's what's happening here, is that the first 5 rows give you his last 5 digits in the north, the latitude.
Right, the decimal minutes.
That's right. Exactly. So now, but here's the part that gets more fun. Once you realize that, okay, each one of those sentences, if you will, with weird code in it, stands for some digit. Well, how could those of different lengths stand for digits? And we see that there's like one of them is only 3 long, one of them, some of them are 4 long, and some of them are 5 long. And the number words for digits are 3, 4, and 5 long. So
6.
And 6. Okay, but yeah, that's 6 is for 3, right? Or
Right.
3 of them. So let's look at that top one, because there's one other thing that I'm going to point out should jump out. And when you look at those 5 things that are there, what do you notice about 2 of them?
They're the same. The last 2 are the same.
The last 2 are the same. So if those things are standing for letters of the alphabet, what mathematics, we said last week, Gary, is like the study of patterns, being able to see pattern when other people just see like random garbage.
Right.
I see pattern there, and I see something that suggests a number word that has its last 2 letters the same, but the first 3 are different. What would that be?
Oh. 3.
That would be
The-
now.
The number or the word 3.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be onto something. That's not proof of anything yet, but just scroll up a little bit to the given coordinates here. The dummy coordinates. And look at after the north 35, what's the first digit you see?
Yeah, it's a
3.
3.
It's a 3, and the next one's a 6, so it's highly unlikely that, I mean, it might not come out 36. It might be 37, it might be 35, maybe even off by 2, but that 3 is pretty set. So now I already have a decoding going on here, and this is going to be like solving a cryptogram,
Right,
even if you have no idea what's going on.
Interesting.
Yep. Because this character and this character are the same as these 2. So if these are both E's, then stands to reason that that is an E and that is an E.
Yes.
Right? And so
Right.
if you had
Start
S,
filling the blanks. Right.
so if you had a SEVEN, right?
That's
you got another,
right.
You got another number in the puzzle.
Right.
That's it.
And deductive reasoning that this one right here that is only 3 characters long
Yep.
can only be one number.
Well, there's 2 of them.
6 or 2.
Oh,
There's 3 of them.
or
Duh.
one.
Or 1.
Ah.
1, 2 or right. 1, 6.
Or
1,
And
2,
the
or
last,
3.
well,
1, 2, or
and the
6.
last, and we already know what the last digit is
yes.
because it's the same as these 2, right? So if you look at that and you realize that we already know what this letter is,
Sure.
right?
So this one's just going to fall right into your lap right now. And a lot of times puzzles will do that. And a lot of times the puzzle writer intends that. There is
Right.
no other solution available. Not so with this one. And I can't help, but this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think I mentioned this last week, and a friend of mine always likes to say this, a good puzzle writer likes to leave breadcrumbs so that they want you to solve the puzzle. So did you see the name of this puzzle other than We're All Crazy Here?
Needles.
Needles. And if you scroll down just a little bit to see the beginning of the text, there's mention, go up a little bit, stop right there. And I don't see it right now. It's not Moriarty. You'll notice that Moriarty is mentioned in all these puzzles. There's
Right here.
I use the hint.
Yeah, go down to the hint. That's where it is. There it is.
But I don't know how it works.
If you Google the words that stand out from the rest, Cook spelled exactly like that. That's not a mistake.
Right.
Wheatstone really stands out too. Is like, why would he be saying Wheatstone here? And needles. And put those 3 words together. Now, I mean, this is not a what 3 words or something, but if you just type those 3 together into Google with spaces in between them, I pretty much guarantee that you're going to see something come up, and you're going to see.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see it.
I'm
And-
seeing something, but I don't see how it works.
Look at the Wikipedia link that's there, because that does the best job of explaining it. And I don't know, Gary, would you mind just opening up that Wikipedia page? You're in charge of what's on the screen there right now, right?
No, I am, but I've got the Wikipedia page open.
Okay, if you could share that, that would be great.
Which is, my stance on this, Gary and Tom. You should never use Wikipedia as the base for a puzzle, because people can get in and edit Wikipedia.
Yeah. That won't break anything here, though. And by the way, I should mention this too. I wouldn't be going nearly this far with this if I hadn't confirmed with Dave Pokerluck first that he is totally fine with us sharing this puzzle, even to the point of like the solution on this one. He's got plenty more for you to mess around with there, so I highly recommend his. But scroll down a little more. There's your Wheatstone cooked needle thing, and look at that. Look at that diagram there.
And I did not know that was.
I didn't know that was the name of it, or that was a name of.
So let's go with the E. That was 1R3L. So I figured it meant go down to the right 1, and then 3 down to the left, and I come up with I.
That's what I would have thought first too, Tom. But take a good look at that middle row where there's no letters. This is where the needle thing comes in. Do you see the needles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All 5 needles in their base position would be vertical, but 2 of them are turned in this case. The 2 that are turned is number 3. The number 3 needle is turned to the right.
To the right. The other one's turned to the left?
Yes. So, like 3... don't screw this up, Kevin. 3R... yeah, that's much better. Thank you. 3R and 5L would mean turn number 3 to the right and turn number 5 to the left. And look at where those point. Where do they intersect?
G.
In the letter G. So 3R5L is a G. Go back to the one, Tom, you started saying. What was it again?
1R3L.
So take 1 and 3, turn 1 to the R, and turn 3 to the L.
And you end up over the E.
It's an E. All right.
Is that beautiful?
That's cool.
That's pretty slick. Yep.
So, yeah, funny thing is, if it wasn't for this puzzle, I'm not sure if I've seen this before. I may have seen this before because I feel like it's something like something I've done before. But this is just a really, really great one. And there in one puzzle, I think there's a lot of rich stuff to talk to people who want to do more puzzles, learning how to see pattern and kind of be able to deduce a solution out of it. But then to see this, I'd love to see this get used in more puzzles. Of course, that's because I know it now, right? But this is a great one. So
2 ways to solve it. So
yeah, beautiful. Poker Luck, shout out to him.
Nice. Very
nice. And I like how this is, and kudos for him allowing us to go down this road with one of his active caches. It is a premium member only cache, but what this does now is that it gives people a reason to stop at least one of his caches, and if they're in the neighborhood, hey, why not we try and look at some of his others and see if we can solve them while this is on our route.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, thanks to him and thanks to you, Kevin, for reaching out and getting that permission for us to showcase one of his caches like this, because I really like this idea, and I had never thought of until today, I don't think I've ever seen one of these either. The Cook Wheatstone thing. So it's. I'm gonna go and do a little more research on this now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
but
Excellent.
it's I like doing this for cache owners who are willing, because it gives people who are road tripping, hey, I saw this somewhere and I'm going to stop and find it because I know how to solve it. And then it gives you a reason to potentially look at some of his other caches that are out there. So,
yeah. I
know.
wish I could remember his partner in doing this too. I would say her name. I can't remember it, but you will see it on the other puzzles in the series. But yeah, it's a really good set of puzzles, and they vary in difficulty a lot. So like the first ones are pretty easy, and there's some in there that are, pull out your hair, tricky. Yeah,
Of
You gotta have a
course
few of
they
those
are.
around. That's right.
So
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being with us for the last couple of weeks, doing some math puzzles. Been awesome. Thank you, my
every
friend.
day.
We'll have you back on sometime. We'll keep your phone number nearby just in case we need you. So, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Charles got back to civilization, and I guess his computer took some antibiotics.
It's the weirdest thing with this Dell computer that I have. It's sitting closed on my computer plugged into the docking station right now. And I plugged it in, and my two monitors on my screen came up. But when I open the lid or the deck to get to the keyboard, the internal keyboard, it gives me a blue screen and tells me that there's been a catastrophic hardware failure inside, which tells me that something in the wiring chassis, when the lid is open, is shorting. And so for right now, what that means is I'm going to just leave it shut on my desk. And when I go on road trips in the future, I have an older, more rugged computer that I'll take with me and whatnot. So it's the weirdest thing. I was doing some shopping for a new computer, and the wife was looking at some, and then I came home and plugged it in, and it's working. So I don't, it's a computer.
Good for the moment. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see everybody back. Let me get the date right. Can you believe it's going to be October? Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks.
October 12th. October
Yes.
12th and October 19th will be the next two puzzle talks. So we will see y'all then.
And in the meantime, Gary, I'll see you at Going Caching.
Yes, going caching.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you got something you want us to cover on the show, send it that email address right there. Sooner the better, so we can get after it.
Make sure, yes, please send us your suggestions and send us pictures. We'll put them up there on Instagram. Keep an eye out for that. Once in a while, Charles gets out there and
Yep, absolutely. And if you
throws a
decide, if you somehow decide to make a math puzzle or a puzzle based off of one that we had in the show, hey, send us a GC code to it. We'd like to feature it in the show and let everybody know that,
absolutely.
hey, there are new caches coming out, and based on some of the ideas that you saw on the show, we'd love to feature them and your caches on you and your caches on one of the shows and give you a shout out.
There you go. Perfect. You never know. People win stuff too sometimes. So you never know. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks, Kevin. And we'll see you guys in a
Thank you guys. It was
couple
fun.
weeks. Yep, Kevin, I'll see you in Rome.
In Rome.
Good night, everybody.
Rome.